It's dark. Bone-cold dark. The wind is screaming across an open plain, and somewhere close, low in the grass, two eyes catch the last bit of moonlight and flash back at you. Your skin prickles. Every hair on your arm stands up, even though you have almost no hair left to stand up with. You have no walls, no door, no fire yet. Just skin, hands, and a heartbeat that will not slow down. This is the world our ancestors woke up in every single day, and it's why, for millions of years, one kind of place meant the difference between living to see morning and not making it. The cave. But here's the twist most people get wrong. Cavemen barely lived in caves at all. That word came from us, not from them. Scientists dug up old bones in caves and assumed that's where people slept every night. But most early humans moved constantly, chasing herds and ripe fruit across open land. They built camps out of branches, hides, and even mammoth bones. Caves were the exception, not the rule, used more like an emergency motel than a permanent house. Some sites, like a cave on the coast of Kenya, do show almost continuous use across 70,000 years. So a few groups did stay. Most didn't. So why do caves show up again and again in the story of who we are? Temperature. That's the first answer. Step 10 meters into most caves and the temperature barely moves, summer or winter. It sits around 50 degrees Fahrenheit no matter what's happening outside. During an ice age, when the ground outside froze solid and the wind could kill you in an hour, that kind of steady air was priceless. No walls needed insulation. The rock did the work for free. But here's what's fascinating. Caves weren't empty real estate waiting for humans to move in. They were already occupied. Giant cave bears, twice the size of a grizzly and tall enough to look through a second-story window, used caves to hibernate every winter. Cave lions stalked the entrances. Hyenas fought over the bones left behind. For a long stretch, our ancestors weren't the strongest thing walking into these tunnels. They were competing with animals that could kill them in seconds in the one place they needed most. And they won. Slowly and violently. Neanderthals learned to time their raids for late winter when bears were groggy and starving from months of sleep. They ambushed them inside their own dens, stripped the fur, the fat, and the meat, and then simply moved into the empty den themselves. One creature's grave became another creature's home. In one cave in Italy, archaeologists pulled out bare bones with bite marks, cut marks, and burn marks all mixed together. That cave had been a kill site and a kitchen and a bedroom all at once. This wasn't peaceful. It was a slow-motion war for shelter that lasted tens of thousands of years, and it's a big part of why cave bears eventually vanished completely. We didn't just outsmart them. We took their real estate one den at a time. Here's the part where you become the evidence. Right now, tonight, if the lights go out and you're alone, your chest tightens. Your pupils widen. Your ears strain for any sound that shouldn't be there. That reaction is not random. And it's not weakness. It's an alarm system built during those exact centuries, when the dark genuinely meant something with teeth might be 3 feet away. Studies on modern lion attacks even show most of them happen after sunset, which is exactly the pattern that shaped us. The humans who felt nothing when the sun went down did not get to pass on their genes. You are descended in an unbroken line from the ones who got scared. Every single time. But here's where it gets stranger. Deep inside some of the most famous caves in the world, places like Chauvet in France, archaeologists found something odd. The living areas, hearths, food scraps, sleeping spots were always close to the entrance, where light and air could still reach. But hundreds of meters further in, past total darkness, past narrow crawl spaces a person had to squeeze through on their belly, they found paintings, lions, horses, bears drawn with breathtaking skill, layered over footprints pressed into soft clay floors that never dried out, and cave bear skeletons scattered everywhere, over 100 of them, undisturbed for tens of thousands of years. Nobody lived back there. It was too far, too dangerous, too useless for daily life. People crawled through pitch darkness on purpose, carrying fire, just to paint on a wall almost no one would ever see again. That's not shelter. That's ritual. That's belief. Somewhere in that darkness, our ancestors were already asking questions bigger than how do I survive tonight? And that leads to the deepest layer of this story, the one most people never hear. In South Africa, inside a place called Wonderwork Cave, a tunnel that runs over 100 meters straight into a hillside, scientists tested burned bone and ash found deep inside, far past where sunlight reaches, far past where a wildfire could ever spread on its own, since flames need oxygen and a path. And this spot has neither. Someone carried that fire in, on purpose, and kept it alive back there, feeding it, protecting it from wind and rain it would never even feel. New dating on those burned bones pushes this back to somewhere between 1 million and 1.8 million years old. That's not modern humans. That's Homo erectus, a species we usually picture as barely more than an animal, hauling a burning branch into pitch darkness and tending it like something precious. That single act means an early human ancestor, over 1 million years before Homo sapiens even existed, understood cause and effect well enough to protect a flame, carry it somewhere useless for hunting or eating, and keep it burning anyway, for reasons that had nothing to do with immediate survival. That's planning. That's patience. That's a kind of intelligence we rarely give our oldest ancestors credit for. So caves were never just shelter. They were the coldest, most contested real estate on Earth, a battlefield fought against bears twice our size, a training ground for fear we still feel today, and somehow also the quiet birthplace of forethought itself. A full 1 million years before anyone like us existed to take credit for it. If digging into where we actually came from does something for you, there's a lot more waiting on this channel. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.